Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. My name is Muhammad Zhafran and today I will present my lesson plan integrated with the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. The lesson is designed for grade 12 senior high school students and integrates the four language skills which are listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Before discussing my lesson plan, I would like to explain the theoretical foundation of teaching English using literature. Literature is considered an authentic learning material because it exposes students to natural language rather than language that has been simplified for teaching purposes. Poems, short stories, novels, and dramas provide meaningful context where vocabulary, grammar, and communication occur naturally. According to communicative language teaching principles, students learn English more effectively when they interact with meaningful text instead of completing grammar exercises only. Literature also encourages learners to interpret meaning, express opinions, and connect ideas with their own experiences. Another important benefit is that literature develops higher order thinking skills. Rather than finding only one correct answer, students analyze characters, themes, symbols, and messages. This process promotes critical thinking and creativity. Literature also increases cultural awareness. Literary works reflect the values, beliefs, and perspectives of different societies. Through discussion, students learn to appreciate different viewpoints while comparing them with their own experiences. Finally, literature naturally integrates the four language skills. Students can listen to a literary text, read it, discuss its meaning, and write a response. Therefore, literature supports language acquisition in an authentic and meaningful way. For this lesson, I selected Robert Frost's poem, The Road Not Taken. This poem tells the story of a traveler who must choose between two different paths in a forest. Although both roads appear similar, the traveler chooses one and later reflects on how that decision has influenced life. The poem explores themes of decision making, consequences, and self reflection. I chose this poem because it is appropriate for grade 12 students. At this age, students are beginning to make important decisions about university, careers, and their future. Therefore, they can easily relate the poem's message to their own lives. Another reason is that the poem contains symbolism rather than difficult narrative events. This encourages students to think critically while still using language that is manageable for intermediate learners. The lesson is designed for 90 minutes and has four learning objectives. Students first identify the main idea and important details, then interpret the poem's theme and symbolism, write a structured personal reflection, and finally present their reflection orally. I also ensured constructive alignment throughout the lesson. The learning objectives, classroom activities, assessment, and rubrics all focus on the same skills. Students are taught, given guided practice, and finally assessed on exactly the same competencies. For the listening component, I divided the lesson into pre-listening, whilst listening, and post-listening. During the pre-listening phase, students brainstorm about important life decisions before seeing the poem. Then, they predict the poem's content from its title and learn several key vocabulary items. The purpose of this stage is to activate students' background knowledge and reduce language difficulties before they hear the poem. Prediction also increases curiosity and motivation. During the while listening phase, students listen to the audio recording while following the printed poem. Listening and reading simultaneously helps students recognize pronunciation, rhythm, and stress while connecting spoken and written language. During the post listening phase, the teacher guides students to identify the speaker, setting, theme, and symbolism through the whole class discussion. Instead of checking only factual answers, students begin interpreting the poem using evidence from the text. The speaking activities also follow three stages. In the pre-speaking phase, students discuss important life decisions from their own experiences. This provides ideas before discussing the poem and lower speaking anxiety. During the while speaking phase, students participate in the teacher-guided discussion about the poem's theme and symbolism. Later, they exchange their written reflections with a partner and rehearse a 1 minute presentation. Peer rehearsal allows students to organize their ideas and receive feedback before speaking in front of the class. Finally, in the post-speaking phase, students present their reflection orally. The assessment focuses not only on pronunciation and fluency, but also on whether students follow the reflection structure that was explicitly taught earlier. This creates strong alignment between instruction and assessment. Reading is integrated with listening throughout the lesson. In the pre-reading phase, students predict the poem's content based on its title and become familiar with important vocabulary. This prepares them to understand the literary text more easily. During the was reading phase, students read the printed poem while listening to the audio. This combination improves comprehension and helps students notice how written language corresponds with spoken language. The post-reading phase occurs during the whole class discussion, where students analyze the speaker, setting, theme, and symbolism. Rather than simply recalling informations, students justify their interpretations by referring to the poem. This activity develops both reading comprehension and critical thinking. The writing activities also consist of three phases. During the pre-writing phase, the teacher explicitly teaches the structure of a personal reflection, opinion, supporting reason, personal experience, and a concluding sentence. A model reflection is also provided. This stage is important because students should practice the same structure that will later be assessed. It ensures constructive alignment between the learning objective, activities, and assessment. In the whilst writing phase, students write an 80 to 100 word personal reflection on Padlet. They apply the structure they have just learned while connecting the poem to their own experiences. Using Padlet also allows students to share their work in a digital environment. During the post-writing phase, students exchange reflections with a partner and receive feedback before presenting them orally. This revision stage helps students improve both their written and spoken communication. In conclusion, this lesson plan demonstrates how literature can be used to integrate the four language skills in one meaningful lesson. By using the poem The Road Not Taken, students do more than just analyze a poem. They listen, read, discuss, write, and present ideas while connecting the literary text with their own experiences. Most importantly, I designed the lesson using constructive alignment. The learning objectives, classroom activities, assessment, and rubrics all support the same learning outcomes. As a result, students are prepared step by step before completing the final and writing speaking assessments. That is all from me. Thank you very much for your attention. See you again.